From the Bob Mills Weather Center, meteorologist Stephen Nehrenz.
Well, tomorrow morning, fall officially begins. 1:50 a.m. is the equinox, autumnal equinox as it's called. So will we get some fall weather tomorrow? Not quite. It's going to feel a little more like spring or summer for the first day of fall tomorrow. Normal high would be 82 for Saturday's date. Our high tomorrow, I'm just jumping ahead to tomorrow though to give you an update. High of 88, of course several degrees above normal. Heat index is going to go well into the 90s tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be muggy, steamy. That leads us into those storm chances that are more storm chances on Saturday. Game day forecast, of course, all of our college teams are out of town this weekend. Good weather for TU's game against Northern Illinois. Good weather for OU at Cincinnati. No issues there. OSU's game at Iowa State, different story here. This one, I think there's a pretty decent chance the weather impacts OSU and Iowa State tomorrow afternoon. Storm chances will be steadily increasing. It's going to be windy, so we'll see how that plays out. But I do think that OSU, Iowa State, that one's going to be having some wet weather impacts. Back here, of course, we've had a lot of wet weather impacts so far today. There's a look from Jinx. Again, some blue skies trying to break out near and west of Tulsa. But then off to the east, storms are still hanging on in quite a few spots. Brandon Wells on the Will Rogers Turnpike just northeast of Claremore. You can still see those clouds hanging in, still the wet road conditions. This will gradually trend down with time this afternoon, but they're still hanging on. And even here in Tulsa, we just had a new downpour pop up on the east side of Tulsa right on I-244. So even here in the metro, we still have that chance for a couple more pop-up downpours, I'd say through about the 3 to 4 p.m. hour. You see up around Oshaleta, right in here, you see this little boundary surging south right near Adair and Pryor. This was a pretty strong complex of storms in southeast Kansas near Coffeyville and Independence a couple hours ago. It's weakening, that's gusting out, which is kind of a weakening trend, but as it gusts out, it can still produce some winds of 40 miles per hour or stronger near Adair, Pryor, and Spavinaw. It's continuing to move over Grand Lake with heavy rain. Tahlequah, you still have downpours. Eufaula, pretty heavy storm. Hartshorn, you've had heavy storms as well. Those will continue to slide off to the east, again, generally trending down from west to east through the afternoon, but in this darker shade, this likely category east of Tulsa, you're going to have storms hanging around for much of the day. Again, by late afternoon, you'll see that trend down, but east of Tulsa, again, you're going to want to keep the umbrella handy. Visible satellite, you can see where there's clearing, where there's cloud cover, so you're obviously going to know where it's cooler, where it's warmer, right? Upper 60s under the rain-cooled air to the east. Low 70s in Tulsa, but it's in the 80s around Oklahoma City and Norman. We're going to try and bounce up to about 81 here in Tulsa by late afternoon, depending on the cloud cover. Again, if we keep the clouds sticking around, we may not get out of the 70s today, but I think low 80s by late in the day, mid 80s once you get out towards Pawnee and Stillwater, pushing 90 around Oklahoma City and Norman, but you get back towards Muskogee, Tahlequah, Stigler, you'll be in the 70s all day today. Tomorrow morning, mild, humid start, kind of breezy as well. Tomorrow afternoon, again, here's kind of that summer-like trend, upper 80s near 90, heat index well into the 90s, and then storms firing up. Now, initially, this would be about 3, 4, 5 p.m. tomorrow. These would initially be relatively isolated, but as we head further into the evening, all that instability in the atmosphere will lead to a threat for severe weather. And it's just, we actually just had an update on this as far as that severe weather threat Saturday evening and Saturday night across southeast Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. This is a very spring-like setup. So these storms, as we walk you through Saturday evening, 7, 8, 9 p.m. through the midnight hours, surging south, and then they'll start to wind down pretty quickly early Sunday morning. But these will be relatively intense. They're going to have all modes of severe weather will be a possibility. Large hail, damaging winds, tornado threats low, but not zero. So I want you to be weather aware again tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. That's going to be, it looks like a pretty rowdy setup for us. After Saturday night storms and early Sunday morning, we calm things down for a while after what's been a rainy, stormy week. Drier and calmer conditions settle in next week.